Don't buy, don't breed, please adopt a bird in need. That's the motto of a refuge for Saving the Wildlife Incorporated. Executive Director Richard Weiner and Karen Stoner are here to discuss the rehabilitation, education, and process for adopting birds. Welcome to Community Connection. You brought some friends along with you today.
Yes,
Richard, who do you have?
I have Daisy. She's a 18-year-old Goffin's cockatoo.
All right. And Karen?
I have Baby. Baby, we believe, is a male, and he's an umbrella cockatoo.
And a significant difference in size between these two birds, even though they're the same species.
Yes.
They're both cockatoos. There's probably about 20 different cockatoos in the world, and these are just two of them. We probably have about 5 different ones at the rescue right now.
And the animals that you rescue, or I should say the birds that you rescue, how do they come to be rescued?
Most of them are owner relinquishment, but some of them have been like abuse investigations and stuff. But the majority of them are, you know, the people know that they either cannot or will not take care of them any longer, and so they contact us to turn them over to us.
And where are you located?
In Northbrook, Illinois.
All right. How many birds do you have right now?
About 60. Yeah.
And what does it take to adopt a bird?
We do a pretty tough interview. We do a 6-page application. We do a phone interview, and then we do a home inspection, and that's before people come out to meet the birds. The birds can live a long time. This bird right here can live about 80 years. The bird that's on Rich's shoulder can live about 60. So it's a lifetime commitment. It's like having a 4-year-old for the rest of their lives, and they don't move out of the house.
Well,
they're there forever.
Let's talk a little bit about what kind of care does a bird require? I've never had a bird.
Well, first of all, something that for some reason most parrot companions don't understand is that they do require vet care. Annual vet care, like a dog, a cat, or any of the other exotics that people take care of, they do require annual vet care. Then they have a cage, toys, food, and then their social interactions are great. They're social creatures. They live in flocks of thousands, so they require a lot of interaction on a day-to-day basis.
So instead of walking a dog, what do you do with the bird?
Take a bird out, play with them.
We walk them. We take them out with us. We have to socialize these guys. We have to make them adoptable. And so wherever we can take them, to restaurants, outdoor cafes, if they allow us, we take them. We take them to art shows. We do a lot of testing, so we don't take them around other birds. We don't take them into pet stores and things. But we have to socialize them to get used to the public, and we will take them all over. Yeah.
And this, Daisy is her name?
Yes, this is Daisy.
She has a very interesting color. I never had seen a white bird before. I usually think of cockatoos as being much more colorful. Is this breed related or just her particular coloration?
This is breed related.
Okay.
Most of the majority of the cockatoos, all the species they have, all of them are white except for a couple they have like the black palm cockatoo, and there's a more pink colored one, but the majority of them are generally white.
And I didn't notice on Baby, but I see that Daisy has a band. Is that an identification or
Yes.
for identification purposes?
Initially the bands were done when they used to basically just import the birds. They all came into different import stations throughout the U.S. So every time they came into an import station, the import station would put an ID band on them so that they knew when and where they came in. Now that breeders are doing it, it's kind of like an ID band. When they do like 20 and 30 clutches of babies, you can't identify all the babies, so they would ID, you know, this was born on this date, this was born on this date, this was born on this date, so they can identify each one, so they can track the weight and the growth of each of the birds. So it's just like an ID band, and you know, normally when we get the birds in, we'll eventually just cut them off because they're more of a hazard than anything else, and we can't identify anything from them.
Get caught on things.
Yes.
Now, is this a bird that tends to leave? When you said you go for walks with the bird, does Baby have a tendency to fly away, or they?
We wouldn't take Baby is fully flighted, so if Baby ever went with us, he'd have to be on a harness. She's still clipped. Daisy is still clipped. She came to us clipped.
Okay.
We don't recommend anybody taking their birds out, even clipped. They're very light. Their bones are hollow. One good gust of wind and they'll fly away. A lot of our birds right now, we have 5 birds that have been turned into us that were found flying free. And people just have that false sense of security on taking their birds out, that they'll never fly away from them. They will. They get very afraid. They are prey animals, and one thing startles them and they'll take off and fly, even if their wings are clipped. So Baby wouldn't go out with us. The ones that we usually take are ones that are feather pickers that cannot fly, will never be able to fly. or ones that we can put a harness on them.
Now,
So-
what types of tracking mechanisms are there, like a chip implant that you might have with is it possible to use that to track a bird?
Well, the chip implants, the microchips, all our birds are microchipped, but they actually aren't tracking devices. They're actually just an ability. So if you were to find a bird or a dog or a cat, whatever animal that's found, a vet or a police department can scan it and say, okay,
It belongs
it belongs here. But there are no devices yet that are on the market that can actually track a bird or any other animal at this point.
Well, Karen, I have a question, because you said you have a very intense interview process for someone who's considering adoption. Do you do any type of training? How would you ascertain whether someone would be able to take care of that bird?
I'm also the volunteer director. If it's a person, an applicant that I don't feel is quite ready for the bird that they want, I always offer them to volunteer and have them come out. Depending on how long they're there, depending on how long they get it, it may take a while. But I always leave the door open for volunteering. That way they're getting the best education coming to the rescue.
And they have an opportunity to interact before making the commitment to bring the birds
Absolutely,
home.
and we can see how they interact with the birds too.
Well,
that-
thank you
that's
so
easy.
much for being with. This has been a wonderful segment, very informational and educational.
Well, thanks for
Thank you.
having us.
Well, that's all the time we have on this edition of Community Connection. If you'd like to learn more about any of the stories you saw here today, or if you'd like to send us your story ideas, log on to our website at cn100.tv. As always, thanks for watching. I'm Cindy Bravos. We'll see you next time.